A newly married couple, David and Alice, move into an old bungalow that has been standing for more than 100 years. From the outside, the house looks worn but peaceful, like a place that has survived generations. But the moment they step inside, something feels off. The air is heavy. The silence lingers longer than it should. Alice looks around and casually asks her husband, "Will you go upstairs and check?" David hesitates. Instead of answering, he steps outside and sits down, as if avoiding something he can't explain. That's when he notices it. 5 years pass. David and Alice now have a young son named Billy. Life appears normal. The strange feeling of the house has faded into routine, or so it seems. One morning, while dropping Billy off at school, they pass a public toilet near the road. Billy suddenly speaks up. "Dad, my friend says there's a ghost here." David laughs it off, but Billy continues. He says the walls inside are covered with strange drawings and writings. That something about the place feels wrong. David brushes it aside and heads to work. He works as a film censor officer, reviewing movies before they are approved. That day, he is assigned a film titled 1902. It's based on a true incident. At first, the movie feels ordinary, but as it progresses, the tone changes. The story turns dark, disturbing. A man murders his wife. The location of the crime freezes David in place. It's the same bungalow he is living in, the same house. That night, David tells Alice everything. She is shocked, visibly shaken, but David forces a smile and dismisses it. "It's just superstition," he says. "We've been living here peacefully. Nothing will happen." But something has already started. A few days later, the couple attends an office party. They hire a maid named Sophie to look after Billy. At the party, David notices something he cannot ignore. Alice is getting unusually close to a long-haired coworker named Alex. Their laughter feels too personal. Their distance feels too small. David's expression changes. Alice notices and immediately reassures him. "It's just an office friendship," she says, pulling him toward the dance floor. David smiles, but the doubt doesn't leave. The next day at work, David can't focus. His thoughts keep circling back to Alice and Alex. The images replay in his mind. On his way home, something stops him cold. He looks at a wall, and suddenly he sees a vision. A man brutally killing his wife. The scene feels real. Too real. Then, noise. From behind the wall. David turns. There's nothing there. That night, even as Alice kisses him goodbye before leaving for work, David feels distant, unsettled. He decides he needs answers. He follows her. For hours, he sits in a cafe, watching, waiting. By evening, Alice enters a tall building with Alex. Before David can react, his phone rings. It's the school. "You forgot to pick up your son." David rushes to get Billy. When Alice still hasn't returned home later that night, David goes back to the same building. What he sees destroys him. Alice and Alex are together. Intimate. There's no misunderstanding anymore. Overcome with rage, David picks up a hammer nearby. For a moment, everything could have ended there. But he stops himself. He throws the hammer away and runs to a nearby restroom, vomiting uncontrollably. He's shaking. Broken. That's when he notices something strange. A pair of black shoes outside the restroom. Someone is standing there, waiting. David feels a deep unease. His vision blurs. He feels pushed, dragged, as if a man dressed in black is guiding him somewhere against his will. When David finally makes it home, Billy is asleep. Alice is still gone. Her phone doesn't answer. The next morning, David goes to the police station and files a missing report. He lies. He doesn't tell them he followed her. He says there was no argument. Later that day, while comforting Billy at home, David sees a shadow in the mirror behind him. When he turns, nothing. Soon after, the police inform him that a man has confessed to being Alice's boyfriend. The affair had been going on for a year. One officer jokingly asked David, "What if you killed her?" David snaps. Days later, Alice's body is found in a nearby canal. Cause of death, drowning, ruled an accident. Then another detail comes out. Alice was pregnant. David collapses inward. After the funeral, David confesses everything to his close friend Claire. He tells her the truth about following Alice, about seeing them together, about walking away. Claire tells him he should have gone to the police. David refuses. He knows how it would look. That's when his behavior begins to change. He installs cameras, especially outside the bathroom. He starts researching the bungalow's history, and he finds the truth. A man once murdered his wife in that same house. Because she betrayed him, The photographs show the killer's face. It's the same face David saw outside the restroom, the same man in black. Terrified, David records the bathroom. When he watches the footage, a shadow appears behind him. Then another room, another shadow. Every recording shows it. At night, sounds come from inside the walls. Sophie hears nothing. Billy sleeps peacefully. David starts breaking the wall. There's nothing inside. Later, he hears noise outside. The manhole cover is open again. As he fixes it and turns around, he sees someone staring at him from Billy's room window. Panicked, David rushes inside. Billy and Sophie are safe. But David knows something is wrong. He decides they must leave the house. He shows Claire the footage. She laughs it off, calling him paranoid. But David is no longer unsure. Later, during a video call with Billy, a shadow appears behind the child. David panics and rushes back. Nothing is there. Now even Sophie begins to worry about David's mental state. That night, David locks Sophie and Billy in the storeroom, claiming danger is near. The next day, near the canal, David sees a woman in the bushes. Billy sees nothing. David records it the next day. The woman appears again and vanishes. David is losing his grip on reality. He spreads flour powder near the door to track footprints. That night, he dreams of the murderer. He wakes up. His water glass is missing. And then the police arrive. A hammer is found near the canal, with David's fingerprints. David tells them the truth about the spirit, about the house. They don't believe him. They think he's pretending to be insane. And now, for Billy's safety, they plan to take his son away. David stands alone, accused, unbelieved, and slowly realizing the truth may be far worse than any ghost. David refuses to accept what the police believe. He is convinced that something else is at work, something ancient, something hiding behind the walls of the bungalow. While the police wait for the mental evaluation report, David returns home, restless and desperate to prove his sanity. That's when he notices the broken wall again. Behind the loose bricks, he finds a hidden bag. Inside are old photographs, yellowed with time. The faces stare back at him, a husband, a wife, and dates that go back more than 100 years. The same murder he had seen in the film 1902, the same house, the same betrayal. Before David can process it, strange sounds echo again from the backyard. He follows them. Footprints appear on the ground. Not human, not normal. They lead straight toward the drain. David follows the trail down into the sewer. The smell is unbearable. His hands shake as he notices another bag hidden in the darkness. He opens it. Inside is the corpse of a newborn baby. David drops the bag and runs, his mind completely shattered. He cannot tell whether what he is seeing is real anymore or just another hallucination born from guilt and grief. Back home, he calls Claire in a panic. "Please," he says, "watch the video again. This time you'll understand." But Claire says something that freezes him. "Last night you called me," she says softly. "You were crying. You said you wanted to tell the truth about your wife's death." Claire believes David is broken. She tells him gently that if he killed Alice, she will stand by him and go to the police together. But she also says that all these shadows, spirits, and recordings may only exist inside his mind. Claire screams. David panics. He grabs Billy and runs toward the door, but the police are already outside. They heard the scream. They assume the worst. David runs with his son, escaping through the backyard and into the sewer. The police follow close behind. Water splashes as David runs deeper, his breath uneven, his mind racing. And that's when everything comes together. The truth. Not the one David has been telling himself. The real one. Claire never saw anything in the video. There was no spirit that pulled her. It was David. In his unstable state, consumed by rage, guilt, and paranoia, David strangled Claire himself, just like he did to Alice. The shadows, the visions, the spirits. They were all born from his fractured mind. David remembers the night by the canal clearly now. He and Alice argued. She told him about the pregnancy, about Alex, about wanting to leave. In his anger, David pushed her. She fell. She drowned. There was no accident. As David runs through the sewer, his mind collapses under the weight of what he has done. That's when he sees her again. Alice, standing in front of him, her face calm, silent. This time the vision feels real. David screams and clutches Billy tightly. In pure panic, he jumps into the water. As he sinks, he feels hands grab him. In his final moment of clarity, David pushes Billy upward. The police arrive just in time. They save the child. David disappears beneath the water. His body is never recovered. Time passes. Billy is taken by his grandmother. The case is closed. David is remembered as a broken man who lost his mind after tragedy. The bungalow is declared unsafe and put up for sale. On the day they leave, Billy suddenly says, "Grandma, I forgot my toy." He runs back inside. Near the same wall, he notices a crack. He looks closer. And behind it, someone is watching. David, staring back. The grandmother calls out. Billy turns. When they leave, the camera lingers on the house. Later, Billy is seen again. He returns to the bungalow alone. He closes the door behind him. The caretaker watches from a distance and smiles. The house remains, waiting. Some stories don't end with answers. Some houses don't let go. And some sins never truly stay buried. This is where the film ends. If you enjoyed this horror recap and want more stories that blur the line between reality and madness, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. More dark stories are coming, and the next one might be closer than you think.